Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here with you again in Boyles of Killorglin, and I am joined as always by our gardening expert Miguel. Miguel, how are we today? Welcome to the show.
We are all right.
You're good?
All right, yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm good. Now, autumn is a favourite time of year for a lot of people, and we're pretty much smack bang in it now. The colours, the trees, we have some beautiful trees here beside us. The colours are changing, and all the leaves on the trees, the leaves are falling. It's the real time of change, but it is that said topic, the trees, that we're actually going to talk about today, because, you know, while at the moment they do look beautiful and the leaves are changing colour, there's a lot of purpose, there's a lot of reasons why you should have trees, and there's a lot of benefits to having them.
Exactly. So, see what you're saying about colour. Now in autumn, but plenty of them, they have beautiful flowers in spring. So it's not only the autumn color, but the beauty of them initially. Then some of them they call more plain, and then they have a spectacular fall. Some of them they remain plain, but it's plenty of reasons, plenty of options, plenty of everything to have a tree at home, and especially here in this area where the gardens are large.
Okay.
So. Flowers in autumn, you can have a tree for every position, for every orientation. If you live by the sea, if you live in the middle of the mountains, you have something there. And you have to remember that they are, it's very, very many things that you can talk about them. It's one of the longest, or probably is the longest living organism in Earth.
Okay.
Trees. It's a pine called Pinus longeva. Will be long-lasting
pine. Like even I can translate the old Latin there now for a change. Yeah.
It's called Great Basin Scotland pine or something like that.
Okay.
That's in the United States.
It's one of the oldest. Are you saying one of the oldest type of trees?
That is two of them in Nevada. That they are about 5,000 years old.
Wow.
Each of them.
Okay.
Not between the both of them.
Yeah.
So 5,000 years old is loads of years. And you have in mind that they've been there for a while. Before the agriculture started, there was 50% more trees than now. So there's reducing trees, and they are very, very important for many reasons. You said. Especially, they capture CO2, they capture carbon monoxide. And they release oxygen. So it's a very good way, instead of having all these. No, it's not only that. You have to be green, but you have to have in mind that planting trees
it's good for the environment.
It's good,
very
good for the environment.
Yeah.
Not only for the environment in terms of releasing oxygen, it's a very curious thing. It's a single tree on an open field. If you plant a tree or you have a tree in an open field, your bird wildlife can increase from nearly 0 to nearly 80.
Wow. Okay.
Biodiversity.
Yeah.
So a single tree can host around 80. Obviously, not a small tree. We're talking about a 200-year-old oak or something.
Yeah.
So very many different varieties, lots of wildlife, and lots of wellness. So, small trees, medium trees, large trees, trees for everybody.
And that's the thing, I think a lot of people would obviously come in and ask you, Miguel, like, what type of tree should I put here? And the sort of things you should think of is, how big is it going to get? How you know, and things like that, because I know I've got there's a couple of places I see now around where I live in Fireys, and I see like an oak tree built between a footpath and a road, and I'm like going, oh my God, that is just going to cause a wreck. It's going to just break up the pavement.
It's going to cost you a fortune.
It's going to cost
eventually.
A fortune, you know what I mean?
Just removing the branches of the tree will cost you.
Another one, willow trees. Oh my God, another one. I'm like, what are you doing? But there are certain places for those trees, and it's all about finding the right one.
So, what we call small trees will be around 3 meters. That will be around 30 feet. 10 feet tall.
10 feet, yeah.
That will be a small tree.
Okay.
So we can include here some shrubs, large shrubs, like have a small tree patterns or behaviors, or like you can take, let's say this cercis could be considered a shrub, but or some ceanothus, some Californian lilac, the arboreal ones are supposed to be shrubs, but they reach a height.
They actually get quite large, and
like
quite bushy and stuff. Tree-like, yeah.
Tree-like.
So they're very large shrubs, like that was you said. So that's the forest pansy that's here in front of me.
What you have to do is a research, okay? Before you plant, always plan.
Yeah.
We always remember
always
that.
Like to try and plan, yeah.
Many reasons. So what you have to find out is how wide will be that tree.
Yeah.
Divide it by 2, and that's the minimum distance you have to, because eventually it's plenty of trees that will be giving you problems, structural problems in your house eventually even.
Yeah. If
there will be a danger, there will be a liability for the roof, for your kids, for yourself,
just
for your
everything,
property,
your walls,
branches, everything overhanging the roof, that type of things that we want to avoid. So if you have a small garden, get small trees. I saw a garden design a few days ago, pictures, and they have one of those, one forest pansies.
Yeah, lovely.
And they have a ceanothus that I mentioned before. So it's 2 large shrubs, not trained, just left as trees.
Okay.
Small place. This fella will grow.
Yeah.
It will grow 3-4 meter tall.
Yeah.
That was giving them privacy in the way they was structured. Okay?
Yes.
But on the other hand, being deciduous, they will give them light in the winter, because the drops will lift. You have been losing that privacy a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have more light. And then, so we have talked plenty of times about the structural plants, anchor plants, plants that are going to give you that structure to the garden.
Yeah.
We talk about shrubs, evergreen shrubs. Those are structural plants as well, in certain designs. Okay. Then you can go to avenues. If you have a long driveway to your house, you can do avenues.
Yeah.
That would be a different type of tree.
Yeah.
Those are more ornamental trees. The other avenues you can do it with pollution cleaning trees or these type of things. But what I'm going is that you have here, for example, you have a dwarf apple. That won't grow more than 5 foot tall. So that's a patio tree.
Okay.
You can have it if you have a sunny balcony. You can have that tree at home and have a few apples.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, won't grow more. It's grafted in a dwarf.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah. The grafting
that's
that we've talked before. Yeah.
We sell this variety, the Cox Orange Pippin.
Yeah.
It's a self-pollinating variety. You don't need a second apple tree.
Which is also important.
We sell them without the grafting, and they are regular apple trees. That's another option. Those are mid-sized trees, small-sized trees. Okay. So what you have to do is, how can you use them? What do you want them for?
Yeah.
The size. Where are you? Where are you? It's not the same.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the things you were just talking about there. The things you're talking about are like privacy. You know, you can use them for barriers. They can use for wind barriers.
Wind barriers.
Depending on that, they can be, as you said, structural. They can be designed. They can be used in a lot of different ways.
Different ways. You can create, if you have a very large garden, you can create, I don't even know how to call it. I call it avenue as well, but it's not an avenue. It will be I have seen that in parks, the small sizes, so they create.
They can create a lovely little pathway kind of effect around.
Of bigger than it is. And on the opposite side, if you do it wrong, it will be creating.
Just
it will
too
be not too small. It will be making your garden smaller.
Smaller, yeah.
So you have to find the size of your garden and relate it to the tree you want. Don't go mad. You have plenty of different things. Have in mind that is not for you. You're not planting it for yourself unless you're a teenager.
A young person, yeah. And that's the other thing, and that's why the word planning is such a huge thing. It's like I was only saying it to my wife there. I came across a photograph 12 years ago of our back garden and my little son running down, and there was nothing over the wall. And right now, there's actually a huge tree there, and it's grown over 12 years. So that's the kind of thing you need to plan for, is it? Because it's not just, as you say, for immediate. It's planning for the future and how things will look.
If you have an apple orchard, you have to know what you're gonna, the distance, the frame, okay? Because if not, you'll be forced to what? Hire a tree surgeon.
Oh God, you don't want to do that, because that'll be costly. Costly.
So normally the roots of the trees, excepting some trees, normally as a rule of thumb, they won't go deeper than 18 inches, 20 inches, 25, 30 inches, no, not much. But they will spread. Depending on the type of roots, that could be even lifting, breaking concrete, lifting pathways,
affecting
lifting driveways,
the foundations of your house.
Foundations.
You'll see a crack going up the wall, and that's so much costly.
And then it's not only the tree surgeon that is going to cost you 1,000 quid or more.
About engineers coming out and all that sort of stuff. So we want to try and avoid that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it doesn't necessarily means that you don't want a tree next to your house. It just find the right tree.
Find the right one.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's a tree, the sycamores, Acer campestri, different types of acers that are basically good for everywhere.
Okay.
So if you want a seaside plant, or if you are living inland, if your sycamores in varieties are normally very, very good.
Okay.
Okay. And then for avenues, for example, you see them in Killorglin.
Yeah.
They are alders, Alnus glutinosa alder, common alders. Yeah. Those are very good for cleaning pollution.
Okay.
They are very plain trees, but in those avenues, they are very good for the fumes of the cars and blah, blah, blah. They release loads of oxygen. They capture loads of these things more than other trees.
Yeah.
So if you live next to an industrial place or something,
they could be something very, very handy.
Like
yeah, yeah.
Then you have, not for more sheltered areas, that won't like wind, so do some research and play with colors. See, this is another type of cercis.
Oh, this is the same one to the forest pansy. Okay, right.
That's a cercis canadensis forest pansy.
Right.
If you have these two together, they will be shining.
Well, beautiful, because this has got a lovely kind of a yellow, and that's already got a purple and green. So it's a beautiful kind of combination.
Those are small. I brought a few small trees or large shrubs. We have a smoke tree here, Cotinus.
A royal purple. Ooh.
Royal purple.
Yeah.
Though these fellas have flowers like they're like a blows of smoke. They are like a beautiful.
Okay.
That won't grow much bigger.
Okay.
That won't grow very big.
Lovely size. Will flower in the spring.
It's trained as a tree. If you buy that in a smaller pot, it will be a shrub. It will be trained as a shrub.
Okay.
So
depending on its environment.
Depending on training, you can train them those shrubs as trees.
Okay.
Just cleaning the lower branches. Just taking these, giving
pushing them up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
To create the effect you want. You have for another very, very good tree for everywhere is the sorbus, the ash.
The ash, yeah.
They are very good for coastal areas. They are very good for windy places. They're good for urban. They are not very big trees.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it as a centerpiece, but it's very, very, very nice tree with different varieties with different berries.
Yes, the blue, the red, and
the idea here is use that as a structural, or find small ones. Find small ones if your garden or the area you want is not very large. Do some research about their roots. Say eucalyptus go hundreds and hundreds of feet down looking for water.
Yeah.
And they won't spread out.
Okay.
So, might be useful for you. At the end of what I'm trying to say, you have acers, you have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But don't go and buy and
just go and buy whatever. Yeah, because you even have this interesting one which is right in front of you here, which I'm not fond of at all. It's this monkey puzzle.
Monkey puzzle tree.
Yeah, he just has actually scared me a couple of times just by touching him. But there's
very
still
large
a use.
Tree.
Yeah, but there's a good use for that, because again, that's another, maybe you could have that as a windbreaker, or because of the way the leaves are so tight together.
That will be more structural.
One.
Because these will be growing very large.
Okay.
Very gracile, very nicely. When it starts spreading.
It looks like it'll turn out like a giant Christmas tree, but you wouldn't want to go near it.
They call it monkey puzzle tree because it's supposed to be confusing the monkeys when they try to climb up this tree.
And the only monkeys we have around here are our little monkeys, our kids. And I tell you, once they go near that, they'll be gone.
This is actually from North Argentina or South Chile.
Okay.
And I don't think there's many monkeys around there, actually. So
they could be the good reason.
They probably call it differently.
But the main reason, just to finish up, because we're running out of time, is this is actually a good time to plan and to plant. So that's why we're kind of focusing on the trees for today's show. Yeah. There is lots of options. It's a good time of the year. Huh?
I was divagating.
Well, it's not unusual. You do go off track sometimes, but no. Again, it shows the passion as well that you have for trees and the importance of them. You have
and
there are beautiful colours.
Beautiful.
I love the acers. I've always been a big fan of them. They're very, very popular. But even everything from like olive trees have kind of come more and more into it now here in Ireland.
Amazing.
But there is lots of stuff. Make sure you do your research and come in and talk to Miguel if you have an area that you think maybe we might be good to plant a tree. And as you said, long term planning for the future, not just for now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Lots of different uses for it, and they're very good to look into this time of year. So Miguel, thank you for all that information, and thank you for listening and for watching on our YouTube. Do remember you can catch the show on Facebook and watch it back anytime you want. If you want to see the lovely Miguel. Maybe not myself. But anyway, That's it for this week, Miguel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week. Happy gardening.